Everybody, your favorite biotech research analyst, Akash Inti here, to discuss financing with you today. We'll talk a little bit about why is financing important for the biotech and pharmaceutical industry, what does financing mean, and what are the different types of financing strategies, and how can a company go about that. With that, so why is financing important for the biotech and pharmaceutical industry? First off, financing is important for any company. And when I say financing, I'm really talking about access to capital, access to money. Any business needs money to start, and there needs to be a flow of money in order to generate more money. So with that, biotech and pharmaceutical agents typically cost in the tens to hundreds to even billions of dollars, tens of millions to hundreds of millions to even billions of dollars just to develop. So it costs a lot of money in order to bring a drug from I just came up with this idea of, oh, I have this drug, all the way through to the end of clinical trials, and I'm going to sell this on the open market. A lot of this has to do with the FDA regulatory process, and we talk about this in a previous video. Now, in order to finance these drugs, there's multiple strategies that companies may use. At a high level, there's two. It comes down to two. So one is dilutive financing and non-dilutive financing. So what does dilutive financing mean, and what does non-dilutive financing mean? Dilutive financing means that you give someone will give you money in exchange for a portion of that company, and a portion of that company we're going to define as equity. So, in other words, a company will go about and say, okay, we're looking to raise some money right now. I will give you some of my company. So let's say I own 100% of the company, and come up to you and I'm like, look, I'm looking for $10 million. I know you have $10 million. I will give you a quarter of my company for that $10 million. We'll value it at this valuation. In this case, it would be $40 million, and we're good. If you agree to those deal terms, I will have together, we will be shareholders of the company, and this company will have access to $10 million, of which we can spend to do drug development. So this is at a high level, one of the strategies that one might go about is dilutive financing. Within that, there's multiple methods of going about that. I may dive deeper into that either in this video and another video, but keep your ears peeled. The second method is non-dilutive financing. And non-dilutive financing refers to that I don't give up any equity of the company, assuming the same example, yet someone will give me money. And you'd be like, well, how would that work? Well, what I could say is I go to a big pharma company X, and I'm like, hey, big pharma guy, I have this new drug that is a super novel mechanism of action, really, really incredible, super promising data that we've seen in animals, for example. I'm looking for financing for this drug. I know exactly where we need to go in terms of the clinical development path. I know all of the different risks that are associated with this. I feel really comfortable with the team that I have. What I'm looking for you in a partner is to get some access to financing. Would you be willing to toss us maybe $10 million? And in return, what I'll give you is access to buy out this drug. You'll be the first person I come to if the data comes out well. And so pharmaceutical companies often will play along with this, and they'll be interested in this because their research and development facilities oftentimes don't end up producing as many not only novel drugs, but they're not able to successfully go through clinical trials because drugs will inevitably fail. So they'll be interested in some type of deal like this because it gives them the option to acquire many different assets in exchange for money. Oftentimes, pharmaceutical companies are flush with money, as you guys are probably well familiar with, and so it's a mutually beneficial agreement. So today we talked about two different financing strategies: dilutive financing and non-dilutive financing. Again, within each of these strategies, there's multitudes of different ways that you could go about it, but I talked at a very high level. Within dilutive financing, you could go about it by accessing private markets or public markets, and then within that, there's breakouts. Within non-dilutive financing, you can access it through grants, so this would be like an NIH grant. You could also access it through, as I just talked about, a deal, as just mentioned, so like an option deal or a licensing agreement. So there's many different methods in which a company could go about raising money, but these are just kind of at a very high level, some of the different ways that a company can go about that. So if you guys liked this video or if you want to hear more content, you got any questions on biopharmaceutical drug development, let me know. I'd love to tell you guys a little bit more about it. With that, I encourage you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what else I should be talking about. Till next time, guys, keep up, thrive, stay sexy.